I decided I would take a trip to South Florida and visit Tampa Bay, the same area they're having the Super Bowl this weekend. An event I could give two shits about. If anything, it's college football for me. But football always comes second to wildlife. In fact, I find so much more joy in hunting and seeking wildlife than I do watching any sports game. It just so happens there is some exclusive wildlife that I have not encountered my entire life that exists right here in Florida. A few of those species are anomalies, some are invasive species, and another one is a genetic mutation or an abnormality that I've never seen before but heard about and read about in ornithology. This is wildlife in a metropolis. Actually, this flock of birds was a lifer for me. These are fish crows, and to see so many lifers all at once. Fish crows are slightly smaller than the American crow. Does anybody know what a flock of crows is called? A murder. Coming up to the first location that I found in my area where the Rock Agame was actually spotted on iNaturalist, and I can already see these smokestacks in the background. It's going to be at a 7-Eleven, so we'll get up here and take a look at it. Unfortunately, the weather was not in my favor. It was in the low 50s and really windy today. Seemed to be too cold for all the reptiles today. I was just showing you the amount of garbage a place like this actually creates. Take note of the way this wall looks. I think I spotted the exact wall where these three Rock Agames were photographed previously and then reported on iNaturalist. I thought perhaps because it was cold maybe they were tucked underneath this tin on the top. But as I pried on it, it was on there pretty good. I certainly didn't want to damage somebody else's property. Okay, truthfully, I got caught. One of the workers at the 7-Eleven came out and said,
"There's usually a ton of them out here."
I said, "Do you know what I'm looking for?" She said, "Yeah, the
red-headed lizards." I said,
"Exactly." But once again, no actual luck finding them. Everything about this place screams Metropolis. I mean, just look at those trains. And that big hill you see in the background? Well, that's actually man-made. That's an old landfill that they covered up. And this is the new one to the other side. I'm excited. I'm approaching Tampa Bay. I gotta see what all wildlife still thrives inside of the heart of a city like this. You may be able to tell by the skyline, I'm right here in the heart of Tampa. And I've spotted one of my favorite birds right there, perched on that power line pole. This is the American icon, the bald eagle. The bird began to hunch, a position I'd seen them take several times right before they took flight. My instincts were off this time. But my instincts did get me ready to capture my first photograph of a bald eagle relieving himself. I figured the name Rock Agame was telling me something about this species. Perhaps they like to post up around rocks, so these railroad tracks would be perfect. But posting my camera up would prove to be a little more difficult. Maybe the industrialized area on the outskirts of the city would be a better area to find these Rock Agames. Perhaps they were posting up on some of these disturbed soils. But no luck there either. The incredible architecture it takes to design a city to allow this many inhabitants to flow freely throughout the city and perform their work. I couldn't go to a city like this and not at least check out some of this architecture. It's easy to overlook the incredible amount of planning it takes to make a city like this work. I mean, they're stacking roads on top of roads, power lines on top of power lines. And even though this isn't a natural environment, I found so much wildlife here, it really blew my mind. That was enough of the big city for me. I went to the state park, but you can see just how close these state parks are in proximity to the cities. I mean, listen to the sirens. These are some monster, if not the largest ferns I've ever seen. Unfortunately, after walking a couple miles already, searching the closest ponds, still no luck of seeing this white blue heron. But it's still hard to not admire these beautiful red calantio flowers, also known as the alligator jaw plant. From my experience and all my sightings or previous sightings of little blue herons, I've always found them in open bodies of water. While there's water out there, it seems to be completely taken over by native vegetation, which is making it almost impossible for birds that like to fish. When I thought it couldn't get any worse, I ran across this, a flooded trail. So I have to walk the berm or embankment, follow these ribbons. Okay, I hit a fence for the police department training facility, and I'm hoping this trail continues on because I don't even know where I'm at right now. I'm gonna have to look at the map. You gotta be kidding. Apparently I have to jump to the 6-foot tall fence. Look at that view though. Tampa Bay skyline. Okay, I made it. I had to jump 6-foot tall fence. Started walking down the trail again. Right here. Right here. I could have just walked through there. So everybody's familiar. That's what squeaking wood sounds like. Well, it's getting kind of dark, and I don't suppose I'll be able to catch very many birds in the dark. I can still hear them in there. I wouldn't be able to get a good photograph, and I'm afraid they might close the park on me to where my car will be locked inside this park all night long. You can see the city starting to light up, especially on this side. But this was birding in Metropolis. We'll catch you next time right here in the great outdoors. Peace. I've been late leaving some of these state parks before, but that was the latest. They literally had the game board out there with the lights, the yellow strobes on the intercom saying, "Please come to the entrance now." And I was like so far away. I mean, God, I didn't realize how deep I was in there. Day 2, and I'm back at the, you know it, the 7-Eleven. I'm gonna find these Rock Agames. I promise you that. I'm gonna do my best anyway, so I'm gonna pull in and see what I see. Saw my first lizard. It was a brown and old though, not the Rock Agame. I got 4 days to find these Rock Agames, but the weather over the course of these 4 days is not looking good. It's always going to be in the low 50s. I think about 70 is the highest it'll get on my last day here. Look at these smokestacks. The condensation coming out of them shows you just how cold it actually is. Yes, I spotted my first little blue herring. This was very encouraging. While it wasn't an all-white little blue herring, it still was a positive. Unfortunately, some of the biggest flocks of birds I found were in some of the worst environmental conditions I'd seen. And also, unfortunately, Tampa Bay in general was an example of bad environmental conditions. I mean, it's a metropolis. You know the saying, while in Rome, do what the Romans do. Well, this is a beach city, so I had to check out the coast and see what all birds and other species I could find. These are sanderlings, just probing the ground for crustaceans. And this is a least tern. Well, it's called a least tern. I would say it's not of the least concern, like Google says, but there was something hanging from this tern's mouth. I hope it's not a fishing hook. All these birds finding their homes right next to a power plant. I believe I also spotted a royal tern. Day 3 and I'm headed back up to the 7-Eleven. Got one more day in Tampa and then I won't have the opportunity to see the Rock Agame ever again. Or anytime soon anyways. But I'm gonna make another attempt. I'll have one more attempt after today. I'm hoping that 3rd day is the charm. This is my 4th attempt in 3 days, or 5th attempt, and we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm pulling up to the 7-Eleven. It has warmed up a little. It's only 60 degrees. It said 66 earlier, but now it's saying 60, and it's a midday, so hopefully these Rock Agames have become more active. We'll just have to get up here and see. I could be wrong, but I think I already see something on the side of this building, so let's get up here and take a good look at it. And I'm hoping this is one It does appear to be. It is one. I gotta get up here and take a video right away. When they told me they were everywhere at the store, I had no idea they were literally everywhere at the store, but I spotted probably 30 all in a few minutes here at the store. All right, that is the largest one I've spotted so far. Whoa! I can't tell you how great I really feel inside. Over the course of 3 days, I've only been able to capture one of my target species. And it feels really good because I started to lose a little bit of hope and courage as far as finding some of these species I've been looking for. Still haven't seen white little blue heron. I've got to find me a white colored blue heron though. It's important and imperative to me. So let's get it. This is a different angle of that. What I said was a man-made hill. It's not a mountain, that's a landfill ahead. Straight ahead. Tampa Bay Times reports tegu lizards threaten native species around Riverview. The invasive lizards, which can reach 5 feet in length, are well established in East Hillsborough County. I went to Riverview and I didn't see a single lizard at all, probably because the weather was too cold. However, when I checked iNaturalist, I saw one reported sighting on there. And this was nowhere near Riverview. It was over towards St. Pete. I had a 40-mile journey ahead of me to go check this area out. But I did my research first, and this article said it was roadkill and multiple sightings have been seen in that area, so I knew it was at least a good chance I could spot one. A journey across Tampa into St. Pete during Super Bowl week knocked a good portion off the day, but I was still hopeful that I could possibly spot this beautiful lizard species, even though it is invasive. Right in front of that truck, there's a Lambo. I don't get to see those very often where I'm from. My first sighting of an animal. It's a 9-banded armadillo, which I'd seen them reported here, so seeing it is really good. I had seen at least 2 previous reports of 9-banded armadillos at the state park. And it also became apparent to me why the tegu lizard that was reported was actually roadkill, because the road runs right between the state park, and I saw a second 9-banded armadillo right on the road. I went down the trail quite a bit and spotted this unusually green algae growing in a small tributary. It was a little baffling. With so few reports of tegu lizards, it's obvious to see why I didn't spot any. We all know how the news likes to hype things up. With day 3 coming to a close, I was at least excited I had finally spotted the Rock Agames.
We are used to seeing lizards here in the Tampa Bay area, but there's one kind that definitely doesn't belong here. New at 6, we sent Adam Weiner into the woods of Hillsborough County to investigate the growing overpopulation of tegus.
Now, finding tegus in the wild isn't always easy.
I might not see a tegu for months at a time, unless...
Well, you already know I don't have months. I only have 4 days, so I wanted to dedicate my time to some of the species I might actually be able to encounter. I couldn't believe what I just spotted. I can't even contain my joy right now. These are some loud jokers, or should I say conures. The nanday parakeet, or the black-hooded parakeet, or the nanday conure. They're actually not native. They're native to neotropical areas like South America. However, one of a few invasive species of parrots or parakeets that live here in Florida now. And unfortunately, all of Florida's native parakeets are extinct. This was my last day here in Tampa, so I had to throw one more Hail Mary on my way back home. I swung by a pond where I'd been reported to see spoonbills. You know, my spark bird. Just saw 3 or 4, maybe even more, white birds. All of them right there. I think they're ibises, but let me get a good look at them. Indeed, they were white ibises, but it was just a moment later when I spotted another white bird in some high weeds along the edge of an open body of water. Any idea what this bird might be? This tricolored heron knew I wanted to capture a photograph of that white blue heron, so he made a big ruckus trying to get it to move. Or maybe he was just jealous, I'm not sure. But he definitely helped me in capturing a photograph and some videos of it actually on the move. After researching the white colored little blue heron in my ornithology book, I found out that it's actually not a genetic mutation. It's just a juvenile, but still really impressive to see. I'm super stoked and excited. Maybe I didn't capture every species I wanted to capture while in Tampa, but I felt like I captured some of the best species. The white colored blue heron, the Rock Agames, the parakeets, the bald eagle, and I just can't complain. I'm headed back to Gainesville with a lot of excitement, and I had a lot of fun here on this trip, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I just wanted to point out this wildlife corridor that goes across Ocala National Forest. We had talked previously about the importance of these corridors, and I found it to be quite interesting to see one up close and personal. We'll catch you next time right here in the Great Outdoors. Peace.
Yeah.